Hey y'all, it's Jael. Welcome to another edition of Operation Hardin Day Ninja. It's January, so according to my Bible, month by month gardening in Texas, it's time to start planting your trees. I had a couple of trees along our back fence that was blocking too much sunlight. And you want to do your heavy pruning and planting during the dormant season when the risk of trauma to your roots are much lower. So you want to get those trees in the ground. I forgot to film an intro, but here we are.
Good morning. We have sun in the backyard, and it is fabulous. Look at that. Look at all that sunlight. Crazy pants, man. Look at that tree that was right there like hella long ago. Crazy. And we'll get up close. But it's awesome because this means that we get way more sun during the winter months. And if we get our trees and shrubs and supportive canopy plants like moringa, redbud, your legume, deep tap root having nitrogen accumulating plants grow up big and tall before the heat comes in, and then they'll shade all the lovely trees, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna shade the trees coming up underneath all the fruit producing and berry producing trees and shrubs and understory plants that we actually want to eat. So it's gonna be cool. We're gonna plant another plum. So we'll have 2 plums, 2 peaches, 2 mulberries, a persimmon, a pear, 2 pomegranates, 2 elderberry, 2, what are you? Sumacs. Sumacs are new to me, so it takes a little bit longer. 2 figs. Yeah, just putting in a whole bunch of stuff, and then we'll top dress and we'll prune and do this all when the plants are more dormant, so that when the new growth comes in, it'll come up more vigorous and more awesome. Yeah, let's do this.
Before you plant anything, you want to prep your soil. So I add the Happy Frog soil conditioner and Microlife 624 fertilizer. Those numbers are the proportions of nitrogen, sulfur, and phosphorus that's in the mix, and they're all the ingredients are plant-based. It's alfalfa, which is a legume, pea meal, which is a legume, seaweed, which is high in nitrogen, and it's all about adding those elements into the soil so that the plants can access them when their roots start to develop and branch out. You want to mix it in with the native soil, so the soil that came from the dirt, from the patch of dirt that you want to mix in, that you want to plant into, so that when the plant roots move out into the real native soil that doesn't have that much conditioners, they're not going to be stunted in their growth. They're not going to be shocked.
So now that you have your hole dug and backfilled with native soil in your amendments, which is the Happy Farm, in this case, the Happy Farm soil conditioner, a little bit of the Microlife 624, some compost, and some worm castings. You mixed it all in, you layered it in, gave it a little twist. Around your shrub, what you want to do is take the container out, and you have a perfectly dug hole. You slide it out gently, and then the root ball goes into your pre-dug hole. Spread the dirt around,
water it through to prevent air pockets in the soil, because that will, like an air embolus, you don't want to push a bunch of air through an IV line, because then there's going to be a bubble that won't be able to be displaced, and it can block circulation. It's called an air embolus. And we essentially don't want the same thing to happen to the roots. So what we're going to do is prime the soil with a little bit of water, get it to kind of sink down a little bit, and then we'll come back through with the mulch up around, not up against the base, but right around it, kind of create a little berm, and then water it in again, so that after it's all settled, and then that's it. I don't want to overwater, one, because it's our rainy season right now, and the humidity is going to be high. We've got some showers in the forecast, but then two, I don't want to drown the roots while they're dormant. But then that's it. That's it. They'll have all the nutrients ready for when the roots wake up and want to start spreading out. And then they'll have a good start to their growing season. We'll come through and prune some of these suckers off because we want to get a good skeletal structure, because the new growth will make all of this too tangled and we won't get a lot of good air circulation in there, but that'll be another video. So let's water. And there you have a perfectly planted shrub. Same thing goes, same principles apply to anything that you want to plant. And I'm just gonna come back here and you can see kind of how the ground slopes down this way. And so I had to build up the one side so that the water doesn't run past the root system this way, but that'll kind of be held up and sit down on the roots. So I've got a second sumac there, so it'll be sumac, peach, goji, persimmon, goji, pineapple guava, pear, pineapple guava, mulberry, sumac, all in a row. You can plant them this close together. Again, nature has trees growing all on top of each other, and you go into a woods, it's not perfectly manicured. Orchards, traditional orchards are spaced, have their trees spaced so that you can drive a tractor through for commercial harvesting. But I don't need all that. I'm trying to grow yummy things that are good for my climate. So I can plant 2 trees in a hole if I want, 3 if I wanted to, if they were bare root, which means that they don't come in a pot with soil, but you just see the roots. And just densely plant the trees and plants that you want to eat, and then plant the companion plants around them. So here I'm just looking around and planning where and how I want to orient this new Florida King peach, and I'm removing that top layer of mulch just so I could see the quality of the soil, and see how much it had improved after it had been mulched for a year, and it's so much improved from it just being regular clay. And then I dug my hole twice as wide as the root ball, and made it deep enough so that it's level to the top of the soil, which is what all planting instructions are on the sides when you look at the sides of your pot that your plant is coming in. But then I remembered a cool planting trick from and here's a really good shot of how you want to layer in your amendments with the native soil. But I incorporated a cool planting tip after watching Big Dreams, Small Spaces, which was a gardening show that was streaming on Netflix not too long ago. You put the root ball in the hole when you're backfilling with all of your amendments while it's in the pot. That way you don't traumatize the roots. And then when your hole is backfilled, take the plant out of its pull it up out of the root, tease it out of the pot, and then put the plant ball, root ball back into the hole, and it'll fit perfectly. It's perfectly snug. And it was so easy. It was so much easier than, wrestling the root ball out of the pot and then having the roots be exposed while I'm trying to hold it upright and backfill at the same time. I only have 2 arms. So when I'm planting trees by myself, I just found that it was such an easier way to plant them, trees and shrubs. And so then I just went through all of the trees and top dressed them with fertilizer, mulch, compost, and worm castings. And that was it. That's how I took care of my trees. This is what I'll do. I'll likely top dress again in 3 or 4 more months when they're budding out. But that's it. Hope you enjoyed.